Good morning, boys and girls. I hope you had a really good weekend and are ready to begin our next Letterland lesson. But before we can start, we need to warm up our voices by singing our Letterland song.
Letterland, Letterland, there could be no better land for meeting a duck, a man with a hat, an orange or two, and a clever old cat. So let's go to Letterland, Letterland, Letterland. Walter Walrus Wetterland needs slithering Sal, a king who can kick, a quarrelsome queen, or make noisy Nick. So let's go to Letterland, let's go to Letterland today.
Well done, boys and girls. Now, if you remember when we were at school and in the classroom, I taught you all about Mr. A, the apron man, and he brought apples from Asia to Letterland, apples that the people could buy. But he also had a very special apple stand on which he kept talking apples, just like any apple. Now, he never ever sold the talking apples. Instead, he kept them and he popped the talking apples into words to make their A sound. Now, today we're going to learn about another fruit that can talk in Letterland. Today we're going to learn all about Oscar orange. Now, it's important to know that not all of the oranges grow in Letterland, because Letterland is not very hot, and the oranges need lots and lots of hot sun to grow. So the oranges that come to Letterland are brought by boat from other places where there's lots and lots of sun for the oranges to grow. However, I do know that in Letterland there's one special tree that does grow oranges that doesn't need a lot of heat, because it's not growing oranges that we will eat, it's growing talking oranges. Although we don't know the names of all of the talking oranges in Letterland, we know the name of one special orange in Letterland that can talk, and his name is Oscar Orange. Oscar Orange. Now, we know Annie Apple, the talking apple, says "ah" as she speaks. But can you tell me what sound Oscar Orange makes? He says "ah" in words. He says "ah" in words. And if I say his name very carefully and slowly for you, I want you to see if you can hear his "ah" sound at the beginning of his name. So let me try say it and you listen carefully. Oscar Orange, Oscar Orange. I can hear his sound starting his name. Now let's practice his sound 3 times together. Oscar Orange says ah, ah, ah. And to help us learn and remember his sound, we're going to listen to a song that helps us to practice the sound he makes. Let's sing it together.
Oscar Orange, he says ah. Oscar Orange, he says ah. Oscar Orange, he says ah. He belongs to Mr. O. Oscar Orange, he says ah. Oscar Orange, he says ah. Oscar Orange, he says ah. He belongs to Mr. O. Oscar Orange, he says ah. Oscar Orange, he says ah. Oscar Orange, he says ah. He belongs to Mr. O. Oscar Orange, he says ah. Oscar Orange, he says ah. Oscar Orange, he says ah. He belongs to Mr. O.
Well done, boys and girls. Now we are going to learn and practice the letter formation for Oscar Orange's A letter. Let's look carefully at him. When we write Oscar Orange, we always have to start at the top. Then we need to go around his body and stop. So when we write Oscar Orange, we start at the top. We go around his body and then stop. Now, to help you better understand how to write it, we're going to watch a video that shows you the correct formation when writing Oscar Orange's A letter. While the video plays, I want you to take your finger, point it in the air, and practice with the song, starting at the top, going around Oscar Orange and stopping. Okay, so let's give that a try together.
Orange, start at the top, go all the way round him and then stop. On Oscar Orange, start at the top, go all the way round him and then stop.
Well done, boys and girls. I hope you were practicing writing Oscar Orange's letter in the air with your pointing finger. Now this is just a little note for your mom and your dad. Moms and dads, it's really important that you watch your children when they are writing the letter A or when they are drawing a circle. It is very important that they start at the top and go in an anti-clockwise direction and close the circle at the top again. So an anti-clockwise direction and close the circle at the top again. Please can I ask you to just keep an eye, and if you notice them going in the wrong direction, just correct them. A fun way to do this would be if you gave your child an actual clock to look at and encourage them to go backwards in the numbers from 12, 11, 10, all the way to 1 and close it back at 12. And let them keep practicing this before you let them write the letter A or a circle on paper. Right, next we are going to take a look at Oscar Orange's capital letter A, and we are going to see how big he's got. Now, I can tell you he likes to do the same trick as some of our other Letterlanders. When he wants to get big and change into his capital letter, he just takes the deep breath in and grows really, really big. And now that he is a capital letter, he can start words at the beginning of a sentence or important words like names. Right, so in the classroom we've spoken a little bit and showed you the pictures of the vowel men and told you their names. Now we get Mr. A, the apron man that we've learned about. We get Mr. E, the easy magician man that we are still going to learn about. We get Mr. I, the ice cream man that we learned about last week. Then we get Mr. O, the old man, and Mr. U, the uniform man. Now, when we've spoken all about Oscar Orange, and we know he says A, that is the short A sound he makes. But we also get a long O sound. Now, both the A and the O sound can be quite tricky because they both share the same formation. So, Mr. O, the old man, and Oscar Orange, their letters are written the same way. But let's learn a little bit about the long O sound, now that we've already learned about the short A sound that Oscar Orange makes. To learn about the long O sound, we need to talk about the vowel man, Mr. O. Mr. O, the old man. So let's see what we can learn about him. Now I can tell you that Mr. O, the old man, is a very close friend of Mr. A, the apron man, and Mr. I, the ice cream man. And I know for a fact that everyone in Letterland is really happy that Mr. O, the old man, lives there. Because without him, they wouldn't have oranges. Now we know that Letterland is too cold to grow most oranges. So what Mr. O, the old man, does is he brings in whole boatloads of oranges from over the ocean, places over the ocean, and he brings them into Letterland. Now, Mr. O, he sells these oranges, the oranges that we can eat. He doesn't sell the talking oranges like Oscar Orange and his friends. Instead, he does what Mr. A does with Annie Apple's A letter, pops it into words to make it sound. So what Mr. O does is he keeps all the talking oranges and he pops those oranges into words to say the O sound. Now this keeps Mr. O so busy working all the time that he only has a little bit of time to say his O sound in words himself. Right, so we know Mr. O makes the long O sound and that Oscar Orange makes the short O sound. So if you listen carefully to their names, that will give you a clue. I say, what sound does Oscar Orange make? Is it the short O or the long O? Let's listen to his name. Oscar, Orange. So that is our clue to knowing that he makes the short O sound in a word. And if I say Mr. O, you can hear that Mr. O makes the long O sound. Now, on the piece of paper next to me, we're going to look at some words that have the short O sound in them. The short O sound in them. So as I say, for example, word number 1, then you can touch the first word on the piece of paper and you can practice sounding it out with me. So on the piece of paper, the first word we're going to have has Oscar Orange's short O sound right in the middle. Let's look at the first word on our piece of paper and you can point to it. And the first word says up, up. What does that word sound like to you? If I sound it out, I hear up, mop. I hear the word mop. Can you hear the short O sound in it? Up, mop. Very good. Then the next word, our second word, word number 2, that you can also point at and practice sounding out with me, is the word pot, pot. And it has Oscar Orange's short O sound in the middle. Now word number 3, or the third word, begins with D for dippy duck. And let's sound it out together. It is D-O-G, D-O-G, dog. And it has a short O sound in the middle. D-O-G. Now our fourth word starts with L for Lucy, lamp lady. And if we sound it out, we hear this. L-O-G, L-O-G, log. Also with the short O sound in the middle of it. And our fifth and final or last word is on. On. It starts with Oscar Orange's short O sound and it ends with an on. On. Alright, so those are our 5 words that have Oscar Orange's short O sound in them. Right, now on our next piece of paper we're going to look at 3 short and easy words to try and practice reading, and we are going to hear that they have Mr. O's long O sound in them. So the first word on our piece of paper begins with G, Golden Girls G, and it ends with a O, the long O sound. So if we look at it, we can say the word is G-O, G-O, go. Are you ready to go back to school? And that is how we would sound out the word go. Then the next word starts with S for Sammy Snake. And it also has Mr. O's long O next to it. So if we sound it out, it is going to sound like this. Let's see if you can put it together. S-O, S-O, so. So, what are you going to have for supper tonight? That is how we would sound out the word so. And our third and final word with the long O sound that we are going to practice for now is starting with noisy next N, and then it has the long O. So let's try and sound it out. N, O, N, O, no. No, I don't want to do that. Could be an example of a sentence with the word no. So that's just an example of how to hear the difference between the short O and the long O. Next, we're going to listen to our story about Oscar Orange just to help us hear and practice his short O sound. Right, so today's story is called Oscar Orange, Oscar Orange at the Docks. Let's see what this story is all about. In Letterland, you will often meet a little talking orange called Oscar Orange. Oscar works in an office. Office. Can you hear us sound O in the word office? I can. Oscar works in an office at the Letterland docks. Often, there are lots of odd objects at the docks. Odd. Odd could mean strange or out of the ordinary or a little bit different. So sometimes there's strange or different objects at the docks. And lots of boxes too. Oscar loves to sit on top of the boxes to watch what's going on. Can you hear Oscar saying in words like on and object, object and odd, odd? Let's take a look at him sitting on the box. Ooh, I just noticed there is an octopus in the water. Octopus. And some olives in the box. Let's see if you can spot them when I show you this picture one more time. I hope you spotted them. Oscar Orange is down at the docks playing a game of I can spot. Spot. I can hear his sound. Now I can spot would be how we play I Spy with my little eye. So his version of playing I Spy is I can spot. If you'd like to play it too, listen carefully to this clue. Down at the docks he sits up high, and he spotted a bird that cannot fly. Look carefully at the picture and see if you can spot the bird that cannot fly. Did you see the bird? It's an ostrich. Ostrich. Yes, you're right. Now it's trotting out of sight. Oscar now spots a very odd box. Odd box. Can you spot a big brown ox? A big brown ox. Look here in the trailer and you will see him. The sun comes out and it's feeling hotter. Oscar now spots a sweet little otter. Otter cools off in the sea with a plop. Oscar's all wet. Can you help him spot a mop? Up. Let's see, can you spot the mop? Well done. The otter heads off for a swim. Let's shine a spotlight onto him. Look, there's an octopus in a pot. Count his legs, there are such a lot. So let's look carefully in this picture and we will see the otter, octopus in a pot, pot, and we will also see the olives in a box. All of a sudden the sky gets dark, fog rolls in, and a dog starts to bark. That's odd, said Oscar. I can't see, I can't spot what's in front of me. So let's see Oscar Orange. There is so much fog around. Can you see the fog? Fog. It has his sound in it. And he says, I can hear a dog bark. This word up here, dog, dog. And that is odd, odd. Then there's the sound of a cargo ship returning home from another long trip. The ship is heavy and it's loaded with rocks, with logs and rods and concrete blocks. Uh-oh. Oscar Orange looks rather scared to me. Sound the foghorn, flash the lights. It's going too fast, things don't look right. Oscar spots his friends in the shop. 1, 2, 3, he says. Let's all shout stop. So let's look at how they spell stop. Stop, 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 they say. And the ship stops just in time. I really hope you enjoyed the story, boys and girls. Right, I really hope you enjoyed our lesson today, learning all about Oscar Orange and his short O sound, and Mr. O, the old man, and his long O sound. And I hope you had fun trying to sound out the words with us and really enjoyed the story. So remember, you need to practice writing Oscar Orange's letter, starting at the top, going around, and then stop. And then for fun, what you can also do, because Oscar Orange had so much fun doing it, is you can sit with your mom and dad or brother and sister, whoever is in your house, and you can play a fun game of I Spy. And then for your craft activity, I thought you could draw me a beautiful under the sea picture with one very important sea creature on it, and that is a really big octopus. Can you draw me a really big octopus? And you can draw lots of other sea creatures around your octopus and in your picture as well. And remember, we would love to see photos of all the beautiful work you are doing. So practice your handwriting and have fun playing I Spy and drawing a beautiful picture for us. And we will see you shortly for our next Letterland lesson. Bye!